Maybe call this guy out so that he gets shunned and blacklisted the way he deserves to be, right? And then speaking of dysgenic little going around ruining people's lives because they're bitter and full of resentment, that brings us to Gabe Hoffman, who Fire Rises, fan of the show, mod, Discord member. He posted this clip from the show on Tuesday where I talked about how Gabe Hoffman got Arvol's Patreon shut down, and he was bragging about it on Twitter. He's bragging about how Arvol was making $1,000 a month on Patreon, and Gabe Hoffman got in touch with Patreon and got him kicked off. And I talked about that. I talked about how Hoffman funds the Kino Casino, which the Kino Casino, the Groypers hate them. So Fire Rises posts this and he tags at Remove Jew Hate, which is Hoffman's alt account. Here it is bragging about getting Arvol banned from Patreon, right? Now, something interesting that came up. Gabe Hoffman is responsible for me losing my Streamlabs, right? So he quote tweets Fire Rises and he says, Lyndon Perry, aka I Hypocrite, should be informed by his couple of fans that we got his Streamlabs account banned for promoting hatred against Jews. He likes the attention, so we ought to report more of his accounts and get them banned too. I'm sure you only contacted Streamlabs to begin with. The most fucking irrelevant, worthless platform. Like if you had to ask me which of all the things you're on, which one would you want to get banned from if you had to pick one? The answer would have been Streamlabs when I was still on Streamlabs, because it was like, bringing in like $10 a month from people who could easily just use some different processor. But I didn't know. I got a message in the chat like, hey, LP, your Streamlabs isn't working. And then I tried to go and my link was 404ing. So I didn't know if it was a bug or what. So I gave it a few days. And then I emailed them and they're like, thank you for contacting us. We found that you were in violation of our terms. Is there anything else we can help you with? So I was like, all right, well, whatever. Who gives a shit about Streamlabs? He proves it was him because he shows the email, although interestingly, he's using a pseudonym, John Smith, when he contacts these people, but it's combating anti-Semitism now at Gmail, copying and pasting the information in our original report. So he's got all these like timestamps. Look, you'll see the Streamlabs link. Is this even me talking? I don't know, because here he posts he doesn't say the name of this video. He just posts a link to the video, but he also posted, is Christianity a Jewish psyop, which was the debate between Corey Mahler and Adam Green. And then he's like quoting Corey Mahler, and then he's like, claiming Jews subverted and destroyed. Look at these timestamps. Now, you expect me to believe that he spent all this time watching my content, looking for timestamps and writing emails, but he only tried to get me banned from Streamlabs? He obviously tried to get me banned from everything, and Streamlabs was the only ones who were like, oh, wow, scary stuff here. Of course, he posts the best goy pic because one thing that happened 9 years ago was the only thing any of these people have to make fun of me with. My one mistake that I made in life, taking a stupid picture. He was also bragging about Nick Fuentes' Spotify getting banned and saying thank you to everyone who reported it. So I don't know if he asked people to report it or if he's just globbing on to this after the fact. This is Ethan Ralph going over the same story about Arvol, but he says, we're not going to listen to this whole clip, but right at the start, he says something interesting about Gabe. The point of this segment is like, who is Gabe Hoffman? And Ethan is going to give us some important context on who this guy is here.
Talked about Gabe Hoffman. I think that stands for Gabriel Hoffman. And as you know, I've talked about him a good number of times here on the show. He is he's not formerly Jewish. He's still very Jewish, but former hedge fund manager. He ran Accipiter Capital, his former hedge fund, into the ground by shorting Tesla. That was a very big mistake.
Yeah, Gabe Hoffman is a former hedge fund manager. He lost $100 million trying to short Tesla when Elon, this was like a couple years ago when Elon was being anti-Semitic. It's actually fucking hilarious if you think about it. Some random guy on Twitter is like, Jews are the ones pushing anti-white hate. And Elon's like, you said the actual truth. And then Gabe Hoffman was like, I'm going to take my $100 million hedge fund and put all the leverage or whatever they call it. I'm not a finance guy. I'm just a broke ass nigga here without a Streamlabs account. He's like, I'm going to short Tesla. And he lost it all. It went from like $100 million value to like 3 million. And he lost his job. He lost all his clients' money because he was mad at Elon Musk over anti-Semitism. You can't make this shit up.
And he lost all of his clients' money, but he sold his mansion in Palm Beach. I think it was Palm Beach. For $80-something million to Larry Ellison, a true top J. Unlike Gabriel here, who is a street J, Larry Ellison's a real top J, and he paid him $80-something million. So it's not like Gabe is poor. And
so that's the part I wanted you to hear. He sold his mansion for $80 million. This dude is rich. Okay, this guy is rich in a way that a normie like me can't even fathom that kind of money. And he sold it to this Ellison guy, the same guy who just bought TikTok, by the way, part of this coalition of like, you know, when people talk about the Jews, these are the guys. They're not talking about your friend down at the deli or whatever. So think about this. A guy with tens of millions of dollars net worth, tens of millions of dollars and no job. He is spending his days watching iHypocrite streams looking for timestamps to try to get me taken off Streamlabs. Dude, what the fuck, man? It just goes to show that money will not make you happy. Money will not give you a life. Just because you have money doesn't mean you have a life. Getting Arvel banned from Patron. By the way, Arvel has never said even close to Arvel doesn't talk about, I don't listen to Arvel that much, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't disparage Jews. I don't think he disparages anyone. Arvel is like, we want to build a little community, a little village of white people. And then TMZ is like, so are Jews allowed? And Arvo's like, no, Jews aren't allowed. That's it. That's his crime. He's like, I want to live in a little village where there's no blacks and there's no Jews. And then this millionaire Jew is like, I'm going to try to make you broke. I'm going to send out emails trying to make you broke. Wow, man, you really, you know what? You really are changing my disposition here. It's, I don't understand why anybody would have a problem with Jews, actually. Such a good guy. You know, you're really making me come around on it. Okay, Liz Crokin, she says, below is the video where Isaac Cappy called out Gabe Hoffman and his network for infiltrating and running ops on patriots exposing elite pedophiles. Gabe is a hedge fund manager, former, who did an open secret documentary. By the way, I used to retweet the Open Secret account on Twitter all the time years ago before I had ever heard the name Gabe Hoffman, and I thought this was just an account exposing pedos. So I actually helped that account grow in a significant way because I've always had a lot of followers. Well, not always, but I did. And I would retweet it because he'd always be talking about these pedos. And I just feel dirty thinking about that, thinking like I helped this guy get clout. Anyway, what Liz says here is he runs a limited hangout for exposing certain pedophiles and or sex traffickers while he protects bigger fish like Rachel Chandler. So Gabe's whole thing is like hunting pedophiles but protecting Jews. Everything he does, he uses to like go after enemies of Jews. And I'll show you an example in a second here. Bear with me. Liz says, what Gabe and literally so many of these bad actors have done to me, there's been dozens, is they will befriend me and pretend they're an ally to me for sometimes years. Some of them have offered me money or tried to do projects with me, and I've always said no because I had a bad gut feeling about these people and knew it was a ploy to control me. After maybe a year, or in some cases after many years go by, if they aren't successful in getting me to stick with a certain narrative, they start harassing, bullying, and gaslighting me publicly on social media and or privately via phone calls, texts, emails. Sound familiar? Charlie Kirk, anyone? Now look at this this tweet Gabe made about me in 2018 stating I'm awesome and he's so grateful for my help and support. Fast forward to a year and a half later, I publicly talked about how I was getting targeted and harassed badly daily after Jeffrey Epstein's arrest in my own home, including a break-in and strangers pounding on my door in the middle of the night, among other horrific things. They terrorized me so bad I had to move out of a home I loved. I spoke about this publicly, and Gabe's response to my targeted harassment was to slander me as paranoid, mentally ill, and claim I'm in a cult because I followed Q. Liz Crocken is awesome, and we are so grateful for her help in supporting exposing pedophiles. With Jeffrey Epstein's arrest, most QAnon LARPers are riding high and deluding themselves into claiming credit. We pray Liz Crocken gets mental health treatment. Yeah, this guy's such a scumbag, dude. And here's Isaac Cappy, who was a Hollywood actor, kind of a mentally ill dude, in all honesty. I don't necessarily believe everything Isaac Cappy said. He was popular in QAnon because he said he was going to expose all these Hollywood pedophiles. He said that Seth Green and Tom Hanks were pedophiles, and he later committed suicide, depending on who you ask. Other people say he was murdered. He jumped off a bridge. 2 witnesses were there, said they tried to stop him jumping off the bridge. Some people would say maybe they pushed him. That's the deal with Isaac Cappy. But anyways,
guys all over the place. Jack Posobiec, Gabe Hoffman, Mike Cernovich, Laura Loomer. Gabe Hoffman is running ops on people. He is a bad guy, dudes. I look like I've seen a ghost. Yeah, I have. And someone that was very close to me, I'm pretty sure they were just there to infiltrate me. These are really fucking bad people, and I'm beyond pissed. I don't even know how to describe the feeling inside of me. It's bad. It's bad, guys. These people are bad. They tried to set someone up that you know and love. They're fucking evil. These people are evil. These people are evil. They're unregistered foreign agents.
So he names Jack Posobiec, Cernovich, Loomer, and Gabe Hoffman. And then he emphasizes Gabe Hoffman in particular is a bad dude. Now, remember what I said about how the limited hangout and only exposing certain... Here's Gabe Hoffman on his open secret account going after Razor Fist for this bullshit story that Razor Fist debunked, proving that he never groomed this girl. And yet, even though this was already out at the time, Gabe Hoffman was still calling Razor Fist a pedophile. Why would he do that? Razor Fist isn't even like anti-Semitic as far as I know. He's just a faithful Christian. So here you have Gabe Hoffman using his known pedophile hunting account to slander an innocent Christian man and call him a pedophile. And we already watched all this stuff back when this happened in April, May, so I'm not going to rewatch these videos. You can watch them yourself if you want. Here is Tim Pool talking about how Gabe Hoffman was trying to tell Tim Pool to not have Lauren Witzke on his show.
We had a response from Gabe Hoffman. He says, Tim, you just had Lauren Witzke on your show. And he says she's a virulent Jew hater, recently claimed the U.S. government is occupied by Zionists and that Jews and media are foreign agents. Not a fan of those statements. Think they're silly. She's critical of Jeremy Boring. I'm actually with Jeremy Boring on these points. A lot of people are demanding that I silence these voices or not platform them. Have you watched a single episode of my show? I will say this as I tweeted. I will sacrifice everything I own and live buck naked.
Razor Fist is a Ukraine war support. Who gives a shit, dude? The fact that you care enough about the Ukraine war to say that, I mean, I'm sorry, but who gives a shit, man? People look for one disagreement to like write off another person, and it can be like the most irrelevant who gives a fuck thing, like, oh, Razor Fist supports which, by the way, I'm assuming you mean he supports the Ukraine side when you say that. I don't even know. But who fucking cares, man? So what? He supports Ukrainians not getting invaded and killed? Damn. That's crazy.
In the middle of the woods before I drop two.
Yeah, Tim is like so performative. Honestly, I have to take more of a note out of the Alex Jones book of like clip farming. You know, I gotta like act like some kind of badass at least 3 times a show, and maybe I'll have a viral clip come out of it here and there.
My knees to kiss your pinky ring. So when people say Tim shouldn't have this person on the show or that person, yeah, sorry. I don't live in your world. Okay? There are some people I don't want to have on the show. Why? If I think their goal is to lie, cheat, or steal, manipulate, to enrich, to grift, as it were.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah. You know who else you won't have on the show? Any race realists ever. Where's Charles Murray? Is he a grifter? Where's Jared Taylor? You know? Where is like literally anybody? There's like a, you know, Nathan Kaufness even I'll take at this point. Like they're a dime a dozen, frankly, these HBD guys you could have on the show to talk about that. Never have for some funny reason. But anyway, so if you missed the point, Gabe Hoffman was telling Tim Pool, you're not allowed to talk to Lauren Witzke. This is like his whole life, inserting himself into culture war shit to try to deplatform people, specifically only to try to deplatform people. Now, this brings us to the Kino Casino, who are friends with Gabe Hoffman, funded by Gabe Hoffman. Love the Pie was coping up the chat, trying to say, no, that was like 2 years ago. He only gives $20. We're going to prove here for Love the Pie that they're still cozy with this guy and that they don't care about the fact that he's out here trying to ruin right-wingers' lives. And so, for example, we have this clip from March of last year where, remember when Stone Toss got doxxed? Stone Toss got doxxed by Gabe Hoffman. He's the one who doxxed Stone Toss. And here is the Kino Casino guys laughing about that.
Here, some people are even saying 1488 PPP. I'm not really sure.
I don't know what that means.
They mean by that.
Everyone retweet, by the way. Whoops.
Apparently, Rabbi Hoffman's been going throughout the land causing chaos, fucking felting Stone Toss. Fuck, listen, buddy, when you cross the Jews and the Jewish mafia, you fucking lose, pal. Listen there. You have to get on board the train of Zion.
Woo!
Let's fucking rise up. By the way.
You see what they're doing here? They're hiding behind irony. You see that? I know I sound like iDubbbz right now, but iDubbbz wasn't actually wrong. Hot take. The reason everybody hated iDubbbz is because hiding your racism behind irony is cool and fine if that's what you have to do to get away with your racism. Whereas what these guys are doing is hiding the fact that they're condoning the behavior of Gabe Hoffman, who gives them money when he's doxing right-wingers. They're hiding that behind, we ironically love Jews and Zionism. Very transparent if you have 2% the brains of a dead pissant. And then here's a tweet from Gabe Hoffman where, according to this guy, Jeffrey Goldstein, Gabe Hoffman, PPP, and Josh Moon all met in DC. They all met up in real life because I guess Josh Moon is friends with all of these people as well. And Gabe Hoffman, whose Twitter account currently is protected, so you can't look at his Twitter account currently, but he posted this picture of PPP outside the Holocaust Museum and I guess jokes that the vacation was just a cover story for mandatory training. So I don't know if this guy is even right in what he's saying, but this is what he's saying. He's saying that Gabe and Josh and PPP all met up in DC IRL. And this isn't a thread about Warski was getting called out on Kiwi farms for texting a minor, and Josh swept it up because Josh is friends with those guys. So for those of you who, this is like deep Warski lore, which there's a lot of, but he was busted on Snapchat texting with a minor sexually. The minor told him she was underage and he kept going. Okay, that's who Andy Warski is. If you try to talk about this on, 2019 sounds about right. It's a long time ago. If you try to talk about this on Kiwi farms, Josh Moon will spurg on you and sweep it up and ban you. And what Josh does is he says that story is fake because it all comes from this guy Zoom, which is only old fags will remember that name. And he says Zoom made it all up and Zoom can't be trusted, so the story is garbage. However, that has been proven wrong. It didn't come from Zoom. That's just this excuse. And even if it was true, it'd still be an ad hominem. But regardless, it's an excuse that Josh uses, will remember that, to ban people from talking about Andy Warski caught sexting minors on Snapchat, knowingly sexting minors. Bonus clip, eyewitness testimony from a former IRL friend of Warski from the Miami trip that he does indeed chat to underage girls sexually on Snapchat and IRL.
But so he said he called me up like on the phone. It was like, well, yeah, I got hacked, whatever. Like, what do I do? Whatever, I lost my account, like, whatever, all this shit. Like, how do I fix it? I'm like, dude, I got it. Like, let me help you file the report with Twitter. Like, I'll get your account back. So I filed the report with Twitter saying his account had been hacked. And Twitter got back to me saying, okay, it's been hacked. We'll get you started on the process. We're going to send you verification so that he can verify who he is and get his account back. Blocking the account so that can happen. Right? He gets his account back prior to that. Literally 5 minutes prior to that. He's like, oh, I got my account back. It's working. I have my login. It's working fine. And then, boom, they lock his account to verify who he is. He already had the password. It wasn't hacked.
So, another piece of deep Warski lore that probably not many of you remember or knew about, but there was a scandal where Warski tweeted out the nudes of a girl he was talking to. I knew the girl too. I can't remember her name, but I had talked to her a little bit in DMs. Vaguely can remember her. She left the scene years and years ago. She had like some big tattoo on her chest. Some of you will maybe remember seeing that picture. So basically, Warski was talking to this girl. She sent him nudes, and then I don't know what happened. She made fun of his stutter or something. I don't know. But for some reason, he got mad at her and he tweeted out her nudes and like tagged her in it. You know, just total revenge porn. Textbook revenge porn. You'll never guess what happens, but a lot of people were like, what the fuck are you doing, Warski? They were like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? There's a reason they have laws against this, you dipshit. It's because it's like totally vile scumbag behavior. And then Warski says, guys, I got hacked. Most obvious fucking lie ever that you'd have to be an absolute retard to believe. And so what this guy is saying is he was like, oh, Andy, you got hacked. Let me help you get your account back. And Warski was like, no, it's okay. I think I handled it, because he was never hacked. Spoiler alert. That's the kind of guy Andy Warski is. Josh Moon's friend and financed by Gabe Hoffman.
Like the filing with Twitter, because he's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, why? You said you need it. I'm like, so filing with Twitter saying his account was hacked.
Right. So Andy tried to stop this guy from filing a report because he knew he wasn't actually hacked.
Locked his account.
By the way, shout out to Kumi. I see he's heading out. Yeah. I'm about to head out soon too myself, but that's why I was getting to the rabbit.
But it's like, and then he did that block bot. He did the block bot, everyone, and blocked like thousands and I was saying, you said we don't, I mean, it was streamed, but you have the underage 17-year-old at the.
Yeah, we really didn't get to go into the Snapchat stuff and some of the other stuff.
But like long story short, it was the noodle shop during his stream in Tarpon Springs. There was a 17-year-old girl. He didn't know she was 17 at the time, but was hitting on her, and the dad was trying to keep us away from the shop. Hid in a bush at one point, hoping he could get the kiss from her. Once he found out she was 17.
Warski hiding in the bushes to try to make out with a 17-year-old, but not wanting to get caught by her dad. Just like straight up like Chester the molester type behavior here.
Got her phone number. And then we're back at the house and he's texting her, and Phil Lear and I were like, don't do that, dude. She's 17. You can't do that. He's like, well, she'll be 18 soon. Like, I'll talk to her then. We can bring her on the road. I'm like, you realize, one, that's gross. But two, fans will do the math and say,
they'll figure it out.
Time. Like, she wasn't 18 then. And it's like, oh, okay. But he kept trying to talk to her. And I don't know if he kept in touch with her, but was that, and then the 14-year-old Snapchat thing. But
well, the whole Snapchat thing, and somebody in chat.
Love the Pie was trying to say their relationship with Gabe Hoffman ended years ago. This is from the election stream announcement of last year. So this was tweeted November 5th, 2024. You can see Warski has me blocked on Twitter. Gabe Hoffman was announced as a guest on the election stream, along with a bunch of other winners like Josh Moon and Jaden McNeil. Right, so they had Gabe Hoffman, this guy who they had him on a guest on the show after he doxed Stone Toss.
June 13th, 2025. It's the Friday Scrape the Bottom of the Barrel edition.
Dude, I don't like the pedophilia and the debanking and the deplatforming and the constant incessant lying and slandering. I don't co-sign that, but I like when the fat man talks loud.
Of the show. Thanks for fucking us all, Gabe.
Why does Andy Warski always look like he has leukemia, by the way? Just look at the different in like flesh tone here. PPP looks like a guy who spends his vacations sitting on a beach, drinking margaritas and eating entire key lime pies multiple times a day. And Warski looks like he hasn't had 60 minutes of contiguous sunlight in like any time in the last 3 years. But he also looks like yellow. He looks like jaundiced.
Yeah.
Anti-Semitism levels are rising all around the world.
Buddy,
Thanks
Israel
to Gabe Hoffman. Like, what's going on, Israeli sisters? What's going on? I thought we had the Mossad team inside Rekida's house, fucking tapping his phone lines, bugs everywhere in the fucking house, secret surveillance teams capturing the hidden footage of Rekida beating his children and choke slamming them through fucking tables.
Anyway, I don't even know the fucking story. I just wanted to make the point here that they tried to have him on the show just a few months ago. This guy who just got Arvel kicked off of Patreon. This is their friend. This is their pal. So that's it. This is your right-wing comedy show. Friend with just a filthy, scheming
Brazilian
who's going to be watching this stream and trying to get me banned. Ethan Ralph was going to like fight Gabe Hoffman. He tweeted that. He's like, Gabe Hoffman agreed to do like a MMA match with me or something. I DM'd Ethan and I said, whatever happened with that? And Ethan said, oh, Gabe wanted me to set the whole thing up. And so I just said, fuck it. He was too lazy to do it. Gabe, if you're watching, I'll fight you. And I'll set it up. I'll set everything up. I'll get the venue. I'll figure it all out, Gabe. Dude, think of how it would go down. You beating the shit out of a Nazi live. Dude, this could be your moment, Gabe. Here's a video on YouTube called Big Tech Makes Fun of Gabe Hoffman's Height.
Tend to be a good
Look at little Gabe.
Like,
Look at little Gabe Hoffman.
Look at him.
Look, he's literally 5'2".
Dude, Dad, Joe Sucker.
Look at him. Look at the door. I mean, these look like kind of tall doors, but still.
He's like,
and then he blows that. And then here comes
he's like Beetlejuice size. He's like Beetlejuice from the fucking Howard Stern show. He's like a little tiny guy.
Like,
he's gonna come back out.
The luckiest man in the history of the
world. Are those 15-foot ceilings?
Yeah, you're right that he clashes.
He went
with
from
some
what?
of-
Not
particularly
from
like
good
in
policies.
the elected.
Look at him.
He doesn't like Mitch McConnell.
The handrail goes up to his shoulder.
Dude, you're 5 feet tall. You have millions of dollars. What? No wife, no kids. Watching iHypocrite streams, sending emails to Streamlabs. Just, I don't know. You have so much money. You would think life would be good. So it just goes to show you, you know what I mean? I could get money. I could become successful and get money. I could wipe the best goy marker off my forehead. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're still going to be 5 feet tall, Gabe. That's rough. Hey guys, the clip you just watched is from my daily stream, The Daily Cope, which I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on the Daily Cope YouTube channel, as well as my Rumble, Odyssey, Cozy, and other platforms. If you liked it, maybe come check out the live stream sometime. We have a good time there. I'll put the link down in the description where you can find it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace.